The WNBA isn't just underpaying Caitlin Clark, it's actively blocking her from earning tens of millions of dollars because of one hidden role in its own playbook. Most fans think the issue is just her low rookie salary, a well-known flaw in the system. But the reality is far more complex. The real fight isn't about her $76,000 salary, it's about a clause in the collective bargaining agreement that gives the league veto power over her most lucrative private sponsorships, a conflict that exploded into public view with her agent's statement on October 1st. This isn't just business, it's a battle for control over the most valuable asset in women's basketball history. In this video, we're going to answer 3 critical questions. 1. What specific role in the 2020 CBA is at the center of this controversy? 2. Why does this role even exist, and is it designed to protect the league or punish its stars? And 3. How is this high-stakes battle between Clark's team, the league office, and her own players' union actually playing out? We have gone through the 400-page CBA, mapped the financial incentives, and are going to show you the exact text that puts Clark's biggest paydays in jeopardy. So, how much money are we actually talking about? Is this a minor dispute, or is it a league-altering amount of cash? Caitlin Clark's 2025 WNBA salary is just over $76,000. That's public knowledge. Her private endorsements with brands like Nike, Gatorade, and State Farm, however, are estimated to be worth well over $10 million annually. But those deals were largely signed under the NCAA's more permissive NIL rules. Now she's a professional, and she plays by the WNBA's rules. Here's the problem. The league has its own exclusive corporate partners. Nike is the official apparel partner. AT&T is the official wireless partner. Google is an official technology partner. Imagine a competitor, say Adidas, approaches Clark's team. They see the biggest star in the game and offer her an 8-year, $50 million signature shoe deal to become the face of their brand. In any other circumstance, this would be a career-defining moment. But in the WNBA, it triggers a crisis. The league's deal with Nike is predicated on exclusivity. They can't have the face of their league wearing a competitor's logo. This isn't about one shoe deal. What if Verizon offers Clark a $10 million deal? The league has AT&T. What if Coca-Cola wants her? The league has other beverage partners. Her entire potential endorsement portfolio is a minefield of conflicts dictated by the league's business relationships. This isn't about thousands of dollars. It's a potential 9-figure earnings gap over her career, all controlled by a system she has no individual power to change. But how can the league legally do this? It all comes down to a few dozen words buried deep inside the WNBA's founding legal document. What is the smoking gun? Where is the exact line of text that gives the WNBA this unprecedented power over its biggest star's wallet? Let's pull up the 2020 WNBA Collective Bargaining Agreement. We're going to Article 22, titled League Marketing and Promotions, Section 2, Subsection 2. The text is dense, but the meaning is crystal clear. It states that the league can prohibit players from entering into endorsement agreements with companies whose products or services directly compete with those of the WNBA's official league-level sponsors. In plain English, if the league has a deal with a brand, you, the player, cannot sign with their main competitor. The league protects its own bag, and for good reason. Sponsors pay millions for that exclusivity. The value of Google's partnership is diminished if the league's most visible player is starring in commercials for Apple. According to sports labor attorneys, this kind of language is common in younger, growing leagues that need to protect the value of their primary revenue streams. The key, however, is the ambiguous phrase, directly compete, which gives the commissioner's office enormous discretionary power to define what is and isn't a conflict. This single clause transforms a private business deal between an athlete and a brand into a 3-way negotiation where the league holds the ultimate veto power. And that power is exactly what Caitlin Clark's agent, Lindsay Kagawa-Colas, just put on blast for the entire world to see. On October 1st, 2025, the Cold War between Clark's camp and the league went hot. Her agent released a carefully worded but explosive statement. It didn't just leak, it was deployed. Let's break down the language. Words like untenable restrictions, suppressing market value, and out of step with modern athlete empowerment weren't chosen by accident. This is the language of a public relations offensive. The timing was also critical. Releasing this in the off-season, long after the finals but well before the next season's hype cycle begins, maximizes its impact as a standalone story. It applies immense pressure on Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Her agent isn't just complaining to the media, she's building a public case against the league, framing them as an anti-player, anti-growth entity that is actively harming its biggest star. It's a calculated leverage play designed to force a conversation and potentially win concessions, either through a policy change or a backroom agreement. The statement wasn't a plea, it was a warning shot, signaling that Clark's team is willing to wage a public relations war to challenge the CBA's authority. But this puts the Players Union in an impossible position. After all, they're the ones who agreed to this role in the first place. If this rule is so bad for the WNBA's biggest star, why did the WNBA PA, the very union designed to protect her, sign off on it? The answer lies in the name, collective bargaining. The WNBA PA, led by its president, Nneka Ogwumike, represents all 144 players in the league, not just one superstar. The money from those exclusive league sponsors like AT&T, Google, and Nike doesn't just go to the league office. It flows into a shared revenue pool. That revenue is what funds the salaries, the improved benefits, the charter flights, and the marketing budgets for everyone. The veteran player on a minimum contract benefits directly from the money that AT&T deal brings in. If the league can't promise AT&T that the face of the league won't be promoting Verizon, that AT&T sponsorship is worth significantly less money. A lower sponsorship fee means a smaller revenue pie, and everyone's slice gets smaller. Back in 2020, Nneka Ogwumike praised the CBA as a landmark deal, celebrating the massive gains in pay and benefits for the average player. Those gains were paid for, in part, by concessions like the marketing restriction clause. The WNBA PA is caught between protecting the collective good of its 144 members and enabling the generational earning power of its single most important one. And right now, the rules protect the collective. This conflict feels new because of Clark, but the rule itself isn't. So where did it come from, and was it always meant to be this restrictive? To understand, you have to go back to the mindset of the 2020 CBA negotiations. The league was fighting for long-term financial stability. The players, justifiably, were demanding a living wage, better travel accommodations, paid maternity leave, and a real investment in the league's marketing. The league's argument was simple. To afford those groundbreaking improvements, they had to maximize the value of their league-wide partnerships. That meant being able to promise sponsors a clean marketing environment, free from superstar-level competitors. The marketing restriction clause was a key concession from the player side, a trade-off made in exchange for the very benefits they were fighting for. From the league's perspective, this isn't about sabotaging Caitlin Clark in 2025. It's about upholding the financial structure that allowed for the historic gains the WNBA PA celebrated in 2020. This isn't a story of malice, but of misaligned timelines. A rule designed to stabilize the WNBA of 2020 is now clashing head-on with the explosive economic reality of the Caitlin Clark WNBA of 2025. But wait, you might be thinking, LeBron drinks Sprite even though the NBA's official partner is Mountain Dew, owned by rival PepsiCo. Steph Curry has Under Armour while the league is with Nike. Why can they do it and Caitlin Clark can't? The difference is financial scale and the specific language in their respective CBAs. The NBA is a financial juggernaut, a multi-billion-dollar global entity. Its league partnerships are so massive that an individual star endorsing a competitor is a rounding error.
The NBA CBA has evolved over decades to carve out more exceptions for its superstars because the league simply doesn't need to protect its sponsorship value as fiercely. It can afford to let its stars have more freedom. The WNBA, with a much smaller revenue base, argues it cannot afford that same luxury. Its CBA reflects a more defensive posture, one where every sponsorship dollar is critical to the league's overall health. This contrast proves that the WNBA's role isn't an industry standard. It's a feature of a league still in a more precarious financial position, one that forces it to choose the collective over the individual. The freedom NBA players enjoy with endorsements isn't an accident. It's a luxury earned by decades of financial dominance, a luxury the WNBA's current CBA explicitly denies its players. So, the viral outrage over Caitlin Clark's salary